Hello everyone, so welcome to our academic skills workshop. This is part of our study support and exam support campaign, so hopefully this will be useful to you. And I'm joined here by Mel from the academic support team, and she will take you along this sort of experience to show you by sharing her screen how everything looks on the website, what services you can access if you're looking for any study support, exam support. There's a lot out there. So I think, yeah, I'll just pass on to Mel to introduce herself.
Thank you very much, Heloisa. So as Heloisa said, I'm Mel Kinchan. I'm one of the academic skills advisors here at the university. And if you haven't heard of the academic skills advisors or the academic skills team, we provide academic skills and study skills support, advice and guidance to all students at the university, and that's students on any programme of study at any level of study. So what I'm going to do, as Heloisa said, is I'm just going to give you a little bit of a tour around our academic skills service and show you all of the different ways in which we support students to help them to develop these skills. So I'm sharing my screen and I've got my Napier here, and to find the academic skills team and everything we do, then in the top banner here you have to click on your studies. Just wait for that to load. There we go. And then we scroll down to the right hand side here, improve your study skills. So if we click on that, and here you'll find everything we offer to students. Okay, so that's the ways in which we support students. We help students with their studies, we help them with their thinking skills, and we help them with their writing skills, so particularly thinking about assessments and things, and also helping students as lots of students are now preparing for their final exams and their final submission deadlines. So now the ways in which you can get guidance and advice from the academic skills team is any student can self-book a one-to-one appointment with one of the advisors if they wish to. Okay, so that's, you would just click on that banner there and that will take you to a link to the My Future central booking system, and you can see all of the different appointment days and session times, and you can find an appointment that would suit you. And when you book an appointment, you get half an hour with one of the academic skills advisors. And at the moment, because of the COVID situation, that's a virtual appointment, and that will be a virtual appointment via WebEx. So you'll be sent a WebEx link in advance of your appointment, and you can meet with one of the advisors, so myself or one of my colleagues, and you can talk about anything to do with your academic and study skills. So the only things we can't help with are any questions related to content, because only your lecturers, your academic staff can advise on content. But anything else, so things like academic writing style, essays, reports, presentations, exam tips and revision skills, all of those sorts of things we can help with. So that's one way that you can get some guidance and advice. Now I'm just going to click here to the right hand side and just quickly show you these study skills sheets. So these are just short little sheets that have top tips in relation to some different academic skills there. So we've got one on presentations there, reflective thinking and writing, the writing process there, and then we've got some different stages of the writing process as well. So getting started, focus and structure, and editing there. And I'm just going to click on one just to show students what that looks like. Okay, so this is the editing one, and there's not too much information there, just some top tips. You know that students are often poor and you want to sort of really get the useful advice quickly there. So some top tips in relation to editing and proofreading and sort of perfecting and polishing your work just before you submit it. So that's our study skills sheets. And I'm just going to go back to our main page. Okay, now we do run, I'm just going to show you this as well. We do run each trimester. Now we're coming towards the end of trimester 2, so we're kind of running out of our series of live online workshops. But if you're a continuing student and you're coming back next year, or if you're a student that is, you know, some of our postgraduate students and our nursing students are still studying in trimester 3, then you can click on there and you can see all of the different live online workshops, again delivered via WebEx, that we'll be running, and each workshop focuses on a particular academic skill. So for example, we'll do one on structuring essays, we'll do one on exam preparation and revision, we'll do one on using evidence and avoiding plagiarism, and that's just some examples of the workshops that we run. So you can always have a look at those and you self-book to attend, and again you'll just be sent a link via email and you can just turn up virtually to the workshop on the day. So here is, now particularly if you've got some friends on your course and perhaps there's a particular workshop that you would like some sort of guidance and tips on a particular skill. So for example, I don't know, it might be exam preparation and revision. If you have a look and you know you've missed the workshop or you couldn't attend, if there are a small group of you, at least 5 of you, then it's always worth getting in touch with us. That's our email there, academicskills@napier.ac.uk, and asking if we can run something for your little group. Now we can't promise, but it's always worth asking, and if we've got one of the advisors who is free, then we're more than happy to put on a little session for a small group of students as well. So that's just something to think about there. But aside the live workshops, we've also got a series of pre-recorded tutorials. So I'm just going to quickly click into these. So of course the beauty of these is that you can just watch them in your own time. They've got captions on them because they're recorded in Panopto. So if you need those for accessibility requirements, and because they're Panopto videos, you can stop and start them and you can just go into the little bits that you need some advice and guidance on. And we've got a whole series here. So I'm just going to scroll down to a couple that I'm just going to sort of highlight that might be useful, particularly for any students that are sort of getting ready for that exam diet. Trying to think how far away that is. I think it's 3rd to the 14th of May, isn't it? So not far away. Reading and note-taking potentially, time management and planning. If you have essays to write for your exams, you might want to have a little look at that one, for example. And we've also got at the bottom here, just thinking about where we are in the academic calendar at the moment, we've actually got a video that my colleague Alessandro's recorded, particularly on exam preparation and revision. Okay, so those you can, any student can access those. Some of them are sort of 10 minutes, some of them are a bit longer, but that might be helpful. So I'm just going to go back. Okay, so there's just a couple more things I wanted to show you. You've got so much here that I think sometimes the difficulty is trying to find all of the information, but we've got a lot of information. What we've tried to do is have a collection of resources that sort of that they aim to suit different learning styles and different approaches to learning, and also with that understanding that we know that students are often juggling lots of things at once, and you know, often sort of lacking in time to go through great big resources. So this one I'm going to quickly show you, because this, again, if you haven't heard of this Get Ready website, then this is really helpful. And whilst it is a very big resource, it's very easy to quickly dip in and dip out in terms of the things that you might want a little bit of information on. So it's got lots and lots of information about studying at university, but I'm just going to click through on the left-hand side here to how to succeed, just to show students an example of this. And as you can see, you can quickly, there's lots of different sort of academic and study skills sections here, and so you can quickly go into the bit that you want some information on. Okay, so we'll just quickly go on revision planning for exams, for example. And there you've got lots of hopefully helpful information in terms of doing all of that exciting revision and getting prepared for your exams. Okay, and just going to go back again. Okay. And I just want to show students this one as well. So this is our academic skills blog, and this will open up in a new window. There we go. And what we've got here, again, particularly for students who are a bit time poor, there's a link to the skills tutorials. So that's the videos that I've already showed you. So that's another link to those there. But we've also got these skills guides here, and these are quite easy just to quickly dip into. So we've got a couple of different topics there: searching for literature in the library, references and citations, academic integrity and handling evidence, working critically, and structuring essays there. And these are quite easy. You just have to click through. It's just a couple of slides, not an overload of information, but hopefully you can sort of quickly go in and get the key bits that you need there as well. And then in our blog, just go back here. Okay, so we've got the tutorials, information about how to get some individual advice, and just want to go back to the main page of this. Okay, there's also an academic glossary that might be helpful. Studying at university is like a totally different language. So if there's anything you're not sure what it means or anything, then it might be worth having a quick look there. And the other thing to show you, there we go, about the team. So just in case you wanted to book an appointment or attend a workshop, you can have a little look. This is our team. Okay. So there you go, just in case anybody's interested, but I'm sure that's not the most exciting thing. I'm just trying to see if there is anything else. So there's information there about referencing and academic integrity as well that might be helpful. And I think that's about it, Heloisa. The only thing that I would stress to students is if you're not sure about anything or you've got a quick question, then please don't hesitate to get in touch with us at academicskills@napier.ac.uk. And, you know, one of us is on the inbox every day, Monday to Friday, and we try to get back to students as quickly as possible. We are quite busy at the moment, so we do say to students, you know, to allow up to 5 full working days, particularly if, so sometimes students send us a little draft of their work and we can give them some academic skills related feedback comments, and particularly if you wanted that kind of support, then we would say, you know, allow 5 full working days. You know, sometimes we get students getting in touch and asking for a bit of feedback, and they'll sort of, or it's due in tomorrow, and so, you know, we need time to be able to get back to students. So I think that's about it.
No, that's
so
great.
I'll stop sharing now. Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. That was really helpful to actually get, you know, the run through of how everything works on the website, because obviously there's so much content there. Again, I think you were saying it could be a bit overwhelming if students don't know where to look for it. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much. I wanted to also ask you,
that's okay.
I thought about a couple of questions. Is there anything tailored to maybe some specific groups of students? So for example, say I'm an international student and I may be looking for some support more, on how I write with my English, or maybe support for disabled students. Is there something in that area?
Yes. So that would be what we would advise there is for students to make contact with some of our colleagues in teams that specifically support those particular groups. So if a student, for example, English isn't the first language, non-native speaker, then we would advise for sort of guidance and advice on actually sort of use of English to make contact with the English for Academic Purposes team. Okay, so that's another team, and you can find details about that team and how to get in touch with them. And they run sort of very similar sort of support service in terms of students can have a one-to-one and they can get email guidance and things. And they run a series of different workshops as well. And you can find all of the information about their service as well on My Napier. And then if a student has a specific learning difficulty or other disability, or anything that the student needs some additional support for their learning, then we would always advise students to make contact with the disability and inclusion team as well, because it's really important, Heloisa, that if there is a requirement for any specialist learning support, that the student has that in place. So it doesn't mean to say that we can't then give guidance and advice to that student. Absolutely we can, but it's only going to really benefit the student if they've got that specialist support in place first. So that's the way of sort of maximizing the support that we can provide, and then that specialist support as well. So because we don't actually provide that specialist support.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Okay.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, no.
Sorry, that's okay. I was just going to say, I think sometimes students, I think again, because it's overwhelming, they don't know which support service to go to sometimes. So they think, I need a little bit of a hand here, or I'm not sure about something. And I always say, well, just email us, because if it isn't us, then we'll signpost you where you need to go, or we'll say, well, yes, this is what we can do, but this team are probably going to be really helpful in this respect as well. So just don't hesitate to get in touch.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And that's something that we say a lot at ENSA as well, is, a lot of times students come to us with their problems, and a lot of the cases actually just signpost into the relevant service. But that's
Absolutely
fine. The thing to do is to email in the first place, whoever it is, and then that person will normally send you to
That's exactly it. The most important thing is to get in touch with someone, and also if students are not sure where to go as well, the PDT also is a good sort of starting point. You're making contact with your PDT, because again, they can usually signpost to where students should go. So the most important thing is don't ever be struggling or worried about anything or unsure about anything. Just get in touch with someone.
Exactly. I've got another question here, actually. I've got a question from Matthew. So Matthew's asking for assistance with plagiarism for students whose first language isn't English. Do you provide one-to-one or review work before submission? And is there also a platform that can check the plagiarism percentage before submitting coursework?
Okay, that's a very good question, Matthew. Thank you. I'm just trying to break down the different parts there. So one thing I would advise, Matthew, is I think it would be really helpful, because obviously I don't know your individual circumstances, to try and book a one-to-one with one of our advisors. So you can do that if you haven't done that already. Just go on to My Napier, Your Studies, Improving Your Study Skills, and then click on the one-to-one box, and it will take you through to the links to My Future. It's actually very, very easy just to self-book at a time to suit you. If by any chance you go to book an appointment and the times don't suit you, or they're all booked up or anything, then just email us and say that, and we'll try and work around to suit you if we can. So I think trying to book a one-to-one so that you can talk about your individual situation would be really helpful. And then I would also advise having a look at, so one of the interactive skills guides has got some information, or I think a couple of them around using evidence and avoiding plagiarism. And there's also some information about that on the Get Ready website. Now, what we wouldn't do is so students can submit a draft of their writing before they hand it in. Now, we wouldn't look at a whole sort of 2,000 word essay, but we would look at maybe either a small section, maybe up to about 700 words, and we would give some academic skills related feedback on that. And if you were particularly worried about plagiarism, so usually, again, I don't know your individual circumstances, but usually students are perhaps lacking in confidence around their paraphrasing skills, perhaps, then it might be that you would give us a little sample of your paraphrasing draft and give us a link to the source that you've taken the information from, and we could have a look, you know, or we could just give you some broader tips around how to paraphrase and how to use your sources legitimately within your work. So you could do that. What we wouldn't do, Matthew, is we're not allowed to proofread students' work. So we couldn't go through highlighting all of the mistakes and corrections and things like that. But we can sort of make little feedback comments around things like, you know, structure, your referencing practice, critical analysis, those sorts of things. But what's helpful if you wanted that is to send a little draft with your assessment brief, the submission deadline, any marking criteria and guidance that's been given by your academic staff, and highlight the areas that you would like us to focus on in the feedback. Okay, so we can either sort of give really more concentrated feedback on a particular aspect of your writing, or we would sort of go for more of an overview and we would make comments on bits that sort of jumped out to us. So it's a wee bit tricky. Now, the final thing that was asked there was about, is there somewhere that you can check for similarity? Now, I don't know what course you're on, but usually there is an opportunity if you're an online submission. Usually it's via a Turnitin upload Dropbox. So Turnitin is the software that the university uses to check similarity between students' work and published sources and previous students' work and things like that. Now, usually there is an option to send in draft submissions before your final submission. And with a draft submission in Turnitin, then you will get a sort of interim report, and you can see the highlighted bits of text that Turnitin has perhaps picked up in terms of similarity between your draft and the sources that it holds in this great big database. So that's what I would be advising you to do, is to have a look to see if there's a draft opportunity. In most cases there is, and that's the best way to do it, is to take advantage of that draft opportunity, submit it, have a look at the interim report that you're given, and you'll be able to see if there are, you know, the thing that you want to avoid is big chunks of text that are highlighted and attributed to a source, because that is too similar to an original. If there's lots of little tiny bits and you've been really sort of diligent with your referencing practice, that's usually okay. It's the big chunks of text. So if you do a draft submission and you see a big chunk of text, that is a message to you that you probably need to go in and paraphrase that information more, or you need to have a look at how you've referenced those sources that you've used. I'm aware that I was quite a lot of information all at once I've given you there, so I hope that's helpful. If I've just confused you, Matthew, please just email us academicskills@napier.ac.uk, and we'll try and help you as best we can with this.
Thanks, Mel. That was very helpful. And also, just to let everyone know, this is a live stream, but it will be recorded once it's finished. It will stay on YouTube. So if anyone wants to watch it again, needs to watch it again to get any of the information, definitely you can do that in case you've missed a certain part of the live stream and you'd like to find out more. But yeah, I think we'll wrap up now. So thank you so much, Mel. That was really, really helpful. It was great to have you here, to have someone from the academic skills team just fantastic. And I hope that this has helped students a lot just by showing them how the website works. And I just want to let everyone know as well that this is part of our study support campaign, which is running until the 14th of May, which is when the exams normally end. And we have lots of different things coming up. So we have lots of different mindfulness meditation sessions that are led by the well-being and mental health team. So those are great. And we have about 3 of them a week, which is quite nice. So definitely tune in. It's very nice. We'll be sharing different tips and tricks on how to study, how to relax while you're studying, how to take effective breaks. And there will also be a couple of drop-in sessions for program reps to be able to talk to me if you've had any issues with exams, with any assessments, and you'd like ENSA's support on just to help you maybe talk to your program leader if you think something has been unfair or anything of the sort. So yeah, that's more or less it. But don't hesitate again to get in touch with Mel's team and to get in touch with us at ENSA if you have any issues or any questions about anything.
Definitely.
Okay, well, thank you then. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Heloisa.